you. Okay, right. Well, welcome everybody. Let's just deal with those, and then I'll introduce Ash but I'll wait for Helen to come for that, or we'd have to do it all over again when she arrives. So, have we got any apologies for absence?
Yes, we have. We've got the cooperative member Eddie Hall sent us apologies, and apologies from councillors Erasmus and councillor Cox.
No.
She just randomly sending apologies now.
No, I'll tell you what it is.
Oh,
I put it down.
For everything.
I put it down because she sent the general ones.
Yeah.
So it's just councillor Cox.
Yeah, because she's just messaged in, hasn't she? Okay, right. Has anybody got any declarations of interest? Yep. Jolly good. Right, are we all happy with the minutes? Has everyone had a chance to see the minutes of the last meeting?
Yes, I had a quick glance through them. I didn't see anything hugely.
No,
nothing
good.
that made me think, oh, that needs changing. But some people might be more eagle-eyed than myself.
Well, I haven't seen them. There was only you, me, and Helen here, so
happy to propose those.
good. Well, I read through them and I was happy with everything there, so no problem. Lydia, everything all right? Was it? Yeah, no, you had quite a lot of input into it, so just want to make sure everything got down correctly.
Yes, thank you for that, because it made it a lot easier to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Oh, here's Chris. There we are. Yeah, he's in.
Evening, Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, that's okay. Just checking you can hear us.
Yes,
Okay.
all good.
So, right. Can we go through the actions, Ian?
Yes, sure. It's I'll just obviously go through the outstanding ones. So the first one on the list is number 30, which
But I can't see them on the folder. Maybe they're in last month's.
it should be.
Yeah, no, they're not in the
No, I can't see them.
July folder.
All right. Let me put them in.
Oh, yeah, and then Phil can stick them up on the board for us.
Because you don't go flashing anybody's budgets, you're okay.
Right. Well, otherwise I can put them
No,
up.
that's fine. I'm not. I'll just let me know when they're in there.
Yeah.
You've been recording for half an hour.
No, 2 minutes.
Oh, it says.
I know, it's I think the clock has got a life of its own. I've noticed that before. It always says that it somehow sort of starts at the beginning of, 25 minutes or something. It's very odd. Yeah, I noticed that last time. I thought, oh, that's odd. Why was it started at 6? Yeah, so as I say, the clock's obviously got a life of its own.
It's silly to continue recording when we're not doing anything for waiting for Helen to come.
Oh, no, because if you switch off the recording, it starts a whole new one.
Oh,
and then,
right, okay.
You end up with bits of recording instead of just one.
Gets edited anyway.
Yeah, so, so it can be
You only
edited.
got on the good bits.
Yeah. That's right. Good bits. Yeah.
That's really 2 ticks.
Okay, thanks, Ian. Truthfully telling us there will be light rain tomorrow.
Oh, God. For a change.
There's a surprise. But on go for my laptop, it says it's mostly sunny.
Oh, you've got a positive.
I have. I've got a very positive laptop here. So we'll go with that one. None of this gloom.
Mine seems to be quite well balanced, saying.
Oh, okay. So there we are. Right,
Met Office in sunshine.
there we are. So we've got the full range now.
Really?
What is it? Computers algorithms that give us different things.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I'm on the Met Office. I think.
Yes, I attended that office. In fact, there was an article in the Guardian or the Observer about weather forecasts, and they did say that that office is the most accurate.
Good to know.
So that's good.
The first one we're starting is number 30.
Okay.
Gone in there, have they now? Just
Yeah, you might have to shut it and open it again. You signing them?
unless they're under MI draft or AGs, no, I don't think so. Chairs reports.
No, that was in separately.
Right. They're not for me.
Oh. In documents or in the minute or, oh no, here we are, actions environmental. If you go out of files and back in again, they pop up. I just flipped onto posts and then back into files.
Oh, there we are. They're at the top now.
They come up. They just shut the files. and do it
Can
again.
you not share them?
I probably can.
It's doing it now.
I'm trying to go into the meeting and avoiding that.
No.
Right. We are getting there. Hey, right, okay, so we zip down to 30. Where's there? Oh, it shot past. 30.
So this one relates to it's actually now Lydia and Paul liaising over the purchase of signs and notice boards. And this has been allocated to yourself, Chair.
Yes, and we have, if you remember in the previous meeting, we agreed where they would be located, and I know you just want a final kind of
Yeah, final just.
update on that. So I think actually we're kind of almost there with it. It's just we haven't actually got them in place yet, but it's
Finalising an order and then. isn't it?
yeah.
Okay. So I'll defer that till September then.
Well,
Did you have a look at the Norton Nature Reserve sign?
I couldn't find it.
oh,
I looked inside and like outside, but I couldn't see any metal pools or anything.
oh,
Nothing like that.
maybe they've been in and taken it away.
Yeah, there wasn't anything like even damaged, like that I could see.
Because I knew where it was.
Oh.
It was right on the road,
Yeah, I
a
said,
little corner, actually on Mumbles Road.
yeah, I walked along there and couldn't see anything.
Oh, it's hidden. It was well hidden.
Yeah, so I went in as well. But I couldn't see anything anyway.
Right. Okay. Well, if it's not there, we will have to.
I'll put one in.
Yeah. But I'll pop down tomorrow and just double check that it's not.
Take a machete.
Well, yeah, I will take a machete with
If
me.
you report, I'll come down.
Okay. Yeah.
Ongoing, Chair, would that be fair to say?
Yes. So we're ongoing, but imminently.
Good. Excellent. Right, the next one is number 31, which is obviously the one after. This relates to obtaining quotes on picnic benches, etc. The clerk is dealing with this. I spoke to Carrie this morning. She
Okay.
has got a point of contact at Swansea City Council.
Right.
Unfortunately, the person's mother's just passed away.
Oh.
So
Right.
She can't contact me. She's asked for it to be deferred to September.
Okay, right. So yet another summer goes by when we haven't actually managed to get the picnic benches in there.
The next one is 42, which we agreed to.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, Sarah just
Sorry,
wanted.
sorry a sec. I was just going to ask where they were. I've been asked and asked about them going in by Linda. I'm sure we did say we had a few for.
Well, Kerry's got the list of where everybody put in the request.
Right.
So,
Okay.
it should be down there, yeah.
Because they've asked me again, so I said I'll buy some for the place if we weren't going to get
They will just explain to them that it's
coming.
Swansea Council move
Right.
slowly.
Extremely slow, right, okay.
But it is in hand. So if that was where you requested,
Yeah,
then
no, that was.
that is where they will go.
Good.
Okay.
42, this is related to the environmental vision plan, which we agreed at the last meeting to defer to September.
Yes.
Might have to be.
I was going to say, so that will obviously now move on to Lydia's replacement. So it'll be
Add that
something.
to my handover.
Oh, yes.
And we're doing well, actually, because we're on to the last page now.
Oh, there we are.
So number 59. Again, this has been deferred. Will that be part of your handover as well, number 59, Lydia?
The, let me just,
Speaking with the students.
yeah, speak to.
Yes, because that's obviously something that we will be dealing with
Yeah, I think we agree.
September. We agree on Freshers Week or that sort of time. So yes, so that would be a good opportunity for the new.
The next one,
Assuming, of course, that they're in.
I thought we were going to take that on, Carrie. I sort of think that was what.
Got to link in with
Yeah.
the new person, and then we'll go.
I think that's something that we can probably get ready for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it might be worthwhile asking the lecturers there who are doing environmental, if they're doing environmental or geography subjects, whether they
That's true.
might be. I know they'd be off now, but actually, usually, my experience is they'll be hanging around doing work there.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, there was, and always has been previously, an eco society. Is one of the student societies. So they're obviously the ones that we will kind of aim to engage with. Yes, but they won't have their new kind of chair. Hiya.
Sorry, I'm late.
Until such time as.
God, because my bike's there and it's.
Yes, so we will deal with that, ready for freshers when this week is, so that we don't miss it. Okay.
Good. So that's that one. The last two, number 60 is regarding Bug and Blue, emailing the schools regarding newsletters and agenda items. Did you have any go with that, Lydia?
Well, I certainly Mails and Oystermouth got the posters and sent them out with newsletters.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the Welsh version.
No.
So, not until after the schools, it was too late. It's like,
I managed to send it to Grange, I think you can hear that.
right, so hopefully Grange have sent it out as well.
Those, that's closed now then, obviously.
Yeah, so as many as possible it was sent out. And the school, well, we can talk about that under Buzz and Bloom.
The last one, Chair, is yours. That's regarding the increasing number of volunteers. You're going to put a note in the monthly chair report. Did that?
Yes. No, I think I managed
There
to.
was another, we got a special meeting on the 30th of July. So should we defer it to that one?
Right, yes.
Because I'm sure they want a chair report for each of those as well. But I would have thought. It's the last one till September. So shall I remind you about that, Carrie?
Yes. So, yes, otherwise it would be, I mean, I suppose in a way it can wait now till September because obviously Lydia will be.
I'll defer it there, shall I?
So it would make sense, I think, to
Defer.
defer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the,
Since Chair.
the, tour of the recycling plant?
That's yes, that is on item, that's it.
Oh, okay, doesn't
We
matter.
have an update.
Good thing.
Update, there we are.
Yes, it's number 16, Lydia, on the agenda.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so we can pick that up then.
Okay.
Okay, right. Well, now I have everybody. I was going to obviously start by welcoming Ash, and obviously saying goodbye to Lydia. So I waited until you'd got here. So to start off, for those of who have yet to meet Ash, welcome and thank you for coming along. Your input will be really helpful. Do you want to just give a quick kind of what you've been up to for the your first 2 months?
Work my fingers to the bone, like,
That's what we like to hear.
no, it's been good. It's been just sort of getting to grips with the area and still learning which areas are our areas, and not doing Swansea Council's work for them. So that'll be really good. That'll be something that would be really helpful if anyone can gather any information at all, if possible, to see what is from what is my job and what Swansea Council, because it seems like there's a lot of grey areas.
There's some slight overlaps on one or two areas like wildflowers and verges and things where, yes, it's a bit,
Yeah, because you said you don't want to start putting in the work and then Swansea Council, say like wildflowers, for instance, you do all the work and then, August time comes and also, like chopped it all down. So,
that's right, they just come in with a mower and just raised it to the ground, yeah.
So that'll be great if anyone can find out any information at any point. That would be a massive help.
Right, yes, we will try and, I mean, it's difficult with the verges because we are just putting them into what is Swansea Council's land and we put in the request for them not to mow. But as we found out before, they then take on contractors and the message doesn't always get through to the contractors. So we know in Fairwood Road, for instance, they have just mowed it all.
No.
They did one of them.
Was it
Actually, that's the one that looks the best.
It actually seems to have recovered very well.
It's not necessarily a bad thing if they cut clear it.
so obvious? Did they clear it though? Did they clear it or did they just leave it?
Either which way.
Yeah, but anyway, yes, so things like that really, yeah, we kind of only look after the bit that we actually put the wildflowers in, and it's the responsibility of Swansea Council to mow the rest of
But
the.
this is where catching up with the city and county the officers really
works.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about the gentleman up in.
That's right, yeah.
What was his name?
Simon.
Simon up at the cemetery, yeah.
Yeah. Tyvion and things like that. So
Good, no, that's good because they're the kind of key people that you need to just be able to just have those conversations with because he ultimately will be the one managing the team that works right across our area. So
He seemed very positive about stuff.
Mm. Yeah, no, he seemed very helpful with our water problem with the allotments. He was very.
I feel we've come a long way over the last 6 years.
Yes, yeah.
Where they would just look at us and laugh and we'd say, no, we want to do this. And they got, but now it's like, oh yes, that's interesting. Let's give it a go and see what happens. So that's more.
Yes, I think it did take a lot of effort but it does seem to be paying dividends now and mostly they are very positive about the kind of input that we make into things like the verges and wildflowers and stuff. So.
yeah, that's great.
Okay, yes.
First time I've definitely met anybody else, but could you just say a bit about your background, Ash? Because previously often in recruitment, and so it'd be really good for me. I know nothing about you. Have you done it?
I've done a lot of different things.
Really sounds like some very similar to my own.
I'm originally from Pontarddulais.
The top one.
No. Yeah, Pontarddulais. So lived there till I was 16. Worked away then. Oh no, I was working when I was 16, doing carpentry stuff. Lots of timber frame, roof joists, things like that. So like building carpentry, nothing fancy, unfortunately. Worked away for a couple of years doing flood defence. What was I doing after that? What did I do? It's a long time ago now. In Spain for a little bit, I think after that. Then I came back home, worked for an engineering company that had like contracts with bridges in Tesco's and stuff like that. And doing maintenance on them. Done that for several years. Worked away in Australia then for 2 years. And then came back and worked on fridges. Then back to Australia. And then because of COVID-19, came back to Swansea. Then during the COVID pandemic time, worked in Singleton Hospital for 18 months, something along those lines.
Traumatic.
No, unfortunately, I was in Singleton Hospital and it's outpatient, so nothing really happened.
Oh,
It was empty.
all right.
Yeah, so I can't say I was an NHS hero by any means. Like I was playing ping pong and relaxing for the most part. But then, I started working for myself in 2021, I think, doing like gardening work and stuff like that. Just because there was a lot of boys. I was a porter in the hospital, and there's a lot of boys that were in the hospital for 15, 20 years as a porter.
Yeah.
And there was no sort of like natural progression. You can't progress as a porter. And I thought, 18 months is absolutely flown. And if I don't do something,
Be there for another.
and then it's 18 years, yeah. So I recently just done I've had some one exam results back today, which I passed.
Well done.
I did a qualifications with the RHS. So hopefully now pass the other one. Then exam results should come soon. So and now I'm here. Yeah.
You worked at Aberglasney, didn't you?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
done some stuff up in Aberglasney as well. That's over now. But it was it was nice being in that sort of like formal garden setting with you have like a head gardener, you have lots of people just floating around and things like that. It was a nice place. Not my type of gardening.
Right.
It's a bit,
Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah,
like
it's like-
structured, formal
Yeah.
gardens. isn't
but
it?
yeah, good experience nonetheless. Yeah. So yeah.
Thanks, Kathy. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. And yes, so fantastic to have you on board.
It's sad because I feel like I'm quite old. My memory's terrible.
Not as old as us.
Ian included.
Thanks, actually.
Okay, and of course, the other thing is we have to say goodbye.
Oh, bloody hell. I can't believe Carrie's message.
No.
I told you.
Reference, I could.
So, I mean, it's a goodbye, but for a very positive reason, because I'm sure you all know Lydia is going to go and do a master's
Oh, yes.
in Cardiff University in,
What is the
yeah,
subject? Ecology and conservation.
So you did it full time now, as opposed to part time.
Yeah, well, they couldn't do it part time, they do it full time. Yeah, because of the way that they would have to do a whole new course and get through the big lists. Yeah, a couple of weeks research expedition to do. So
But it's very exciting. So, yes, so it's a huge loss to us, but obviously for Lydia, it's a fantastic opportunity. And I would just like to of the environment. Thank you so much for, well, you've been brilliant. You've done fantastic work. You've really moved so many things forward. That would just kind of been sitting there, and now everything is just working and moving on. So, we're all very sad to see you go, but say delighted that, you've got this opportunity and the world will be your oyster.
Yeah.
Global. In the box.
There's a vase there.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Yes, but if we do our jobs properly, environmental officers will always lose them after a few years.
yeah,
You know,
so much experience. Yeah.
I don't think I would have got onto the masters if it wasn't for the projects and the experience that I've had here. So yeah, great.
Great. Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you. Obviously, I'm sure you've all had Ian's message that we will be, as a whole council, celebrating, but celebrating Lydia's departure, that's it. On the 1st of July, so hopefully you will all be along. Have a good night out. But you're not leaving till the end of August, though. So although we're at the end of July, Lydia is actually still going to be with us for August. So obviously that's, lots of things will still be carrying on. And she has done the most impressive work plan, handover, whatever, for the new person. So that's been brilliant.
Don't give the game away, Carrie. That's 0.7.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so after that slight digression, we move on to Paul. Hey, who would probably like to share the budget monitoring report with us.
Yeah, can you do it, Phil? Is it easier if you do it from down there?
I can possibly do that for you, yes.
Thank you.
Is there anything in this that I
No,
shouldn't
this is fine, yeah. No, there's nothing nothing which will impinge on the data protection.
So this is the community budget monitoring for, yeah?
Environmental Committee Budget Monitoring Report to 31st of May.
Hopefully you have all had a chance to look at it.
No, that wasn't one. Hang on a second.
No, that's the agenda.
Yeah, dear.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry. Yeah, it's this one. Too many windows open.
yeah, that's the one. Okay, thanks, Phil. This is the budget monitor report for the Environmental Committee till the 31st of May. It's in you will have seen it last month, but it is in a new format this year where I've dropped a number of the columns and put a bit of colour in as well. So hopefully it will help committee concentrate on the important issues as we go through the year. Up until now, as everything's green, then there aren't any overspends, which is good. But
July we'd already overspent, wouldn't it?
there are one or two, but not many across the council. The only problem we've got with this new format, though, is the list of expenditure and the list of income, which which is also provided as part of the report, doesn't match up then with the net expenditure, because certain, especially this time of year, a number of invoices are paid which relate to last year's budget, so it's charged back to last year's budget. So they will appear in the expenditure, but the expenditure spreadsheet, but they won't appear in this one, because this one only shows anything that's charged against the 24-25 budget. So running through the spreadsheet, I'll just pick out anything where there has been any movement this year. The good thing is Jubilee Garden, we've got that grant for the work there. And we already see 50% of the budget, so 7,900 has come in. There's a small amount being paid out in environmental officers' resources, and also a small amount on the groundsperson's maintenance resources. So that's the only things where there's been any there has been other expenditure this year, but as I said, that's been charged back to last year. And also there was a little bit of income as well, I think, for bulb planting, which came in early in April.
Sorry, I just wanted to. Phil's been so efficient, he's taken it off the screen.
Did you want me to put the same one back up? Or
because the expenditure and income are more sort of just for information. It was just something, because I think, Paul has sort of explained to this about why things aren't there, but I just wanted to clarify the environment requirements, Paul. Do we have to put in a request to full council to via the money?
Yeah, the only environment must be approved by council, so a committee can't approve it. You can make recommendations to council, but then it's up to council to make the final decision on environment.
Because there was I think you explained about the money from EO resources and groundsperson resources, that some of that has been via to Jubilee Gardens.
Yes, there was. It's in last year's budget. It's an underspend in last year's budget. But there was, when the grant application went in, there was a match funding of £2,000 from each of those budgets, from the environmental officers and the groundspersons. But then we forgot about that when committee set the budget last January, and the budgets were cut by £2,000.
Yeah.
So fortunately, there is, I think one is just over 2,000 underspent, and one is just under 2,000 underspent in last year. So when we do the end of year report for last year, then that money can be vied. A recommendation can be made to council to via that money into the Jubilee Garden budget as the match funding for the lottery grant.
Okay, so we don't have to do anything at the moment. We wait for you to do the year-end report, and at that point, we'll put in the request to via.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I have had a quick look at last year's underspends, and there's about just under £3,000 available. So the committee can also then sort of decide what it would like to use that money for, or it can just decide to give it back to the council as general reserves. I suspect that won't be the case.
Okay, that's brilliant. Right.
Can I just say,
yes,
Paul?
Yep.
There should be some spend on the Mumbles Buzz and Blue in our Cash Hardware.
Yeah, we haven't. I haven't had anything through from Cash Hardware.
He's written it in his book. You know how he likes to do things.
Yes, yeah. The last recharge I had from his book was back in March, I think. So it will come through, and there will be some more expenditure, I guess, in June, which will come through in the September report.
Yeah, this is just to the end of May, isn't it? So it won't.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't have any questions about the expenditure. Has anybody got any queries about the expenditure? Yep.
Specific to this month, I've been meaning to ask Lydia, the £500 for Llwydderu, which was meant to be did they ever, because I know Mrs. Trick did put something in, but it was down to the wire. Did they get
everyone?
Yes.
Updates, yeah, I do need to chase them.
I just knew she was doing it to the wire, and I was chasing like mad. hard version. She said she'd emailed it, and when I went to school, I thought I must check.
Yeah, but
Thank you, dear.
Yes, it was, yeah, we checked that, and finally all the schools did actually.
married the wire.
Yes.
They're so busy.
No, it is a
Right.
yeah, it's, yeah.
I don't think it's lack of interest. It's just
Yeah.
Okay, so unless anybody's got any queries on that, we'll just have a quick look at the income, which is obviously very small.
Stop showing for a second. I've learned my lessons. And
Okay, so they're just what Paul referred to, which was that the vets very kindly gave us £100 towards bulbs, which I imagine were used in.
Oh, yes, I was going to bring it up at some point once Arthur's got his feet under the table. It was a little bit complicated because so the vets give us £100 for planted in males, and what I'd asked Martin was for like a wildflower mix of red campion, bluebell, daisy, whatever, but whatever, it was something like that, and he couldn't get the mix, so he didn't plant anything. And then he said he eventually planted some bluebells in a little mini drift on Males Green by the sign that says Males Green.
Okay.
But he said it didn't come to the full amount, and it certainly didn't come to, so like the 125 that we all had, so kind of males are 225. I don't think it came to the full £100, let alone 225. So the idea was that we were just going to scoop that up this year, but obviously with a new person now, it would be in Martin's head about what exactly he spent, but there was some.
Well, this is in this year's budget, so it is there.
Right, okay.
So
It's
it's
easier to move it over to this year then.
yeah, it's in this year anyway.
No, it has been charged back to last year because my understanding was it had been spent last year. But obviously, if that's not the case, then we can find a way around that. It's not a huge amount, which is going to cause problems to the budget.
Could we ask for a breakdown of what everything costs? So, because I know Rebecca and I both put 100 in extra for West Cross.
Yeah,
We didn't see that many bulbs, so I don't know.
they're incredibly expensive.
I know,
I do
but we
remember
need to
that.
see a breakdown and perhaps find somewhere that goes it's a bit cheaper to buy them.
It's like tricky, I think. I agree, because it's only a really small amount of money, isn't it? Like 100. But then you want to know, because people have got such an interest in it. You want to be able to sort of show £125 or £225.
Yeah.
Or anything else.
people want, so they flock.
They do if you're a city council, you want to be able to say, well, yes, and look, this is what we did.
Yeah. Yeah, so I totally agree. It's a small amount. I think it is important to be able to track it.
Definitely.
Right.
Budget needs to go up next year for bulbs.
Yeah, presumably, Paul, that would be on an invoice somewhere.
Yeah, what I was going to say is I can give you a breakdown of what's been spent, what's been purchased, but what I can't do is say where they were planted, because obviously that's something that Marty would have dealt with.
Yeah, but at least that we can see then across and, know that 25% of that will have gone
We
to.
don't know if it did. I suppose, yes, we can see.
Yeah.
I can see Hannah looking at me and saying,
You just have to assume we can't, we can't start putting up walls around, wards and saying, oh, this has gone into West Cross. This can't be, I'm going to dig them up and
so
move
it's
them.
to give any extra money from that. I'm just doing
I mean, if you've given extra money, that Paul hasn't got that down anywhere.
it should be. Both Rebecca and I gave 100 each from our.
They have both been. They were actioned in last year's accounts.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was last year.
Maybe when it gets planted, maybe Ash could write, a list of where things go. You've got. I think you probably do that.
If local councillors can let me know as well. So,
Yeah, well, do.
You probably don't want to get into bidding war. Bidding war.
So yes, so obviously when we know the total amount and we then it'll be maybe we can have a you know, in September's meeting, we can each say where we want them for our wall. You know, when we're ordering, Ash will know these ones are to go here in Males, these ones are to go in West Cross, etc.
I personally, especially as a member of the environment, I don't mind ordering my own. So I know what I'm getting and I know how much it costs. So that would.
I don't think Paul would appreciate that.
No, but what I'm quite happy though is if you give me a list of what you want, then we can do the order. It just needs to be staffed. But if you identify what you want, that's fine.
Not from the Environment Centre money, because we can't be separating. If you want to put in your money as a councillor,
Planting, it's two separate orders of bulbs, that's two separate planting days, that's two separate.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm beginning to think I'm gonna have to do that myself and use council. Yeah, that's fine, it's just,
So
yeah.
you just do that separately?
Yeah, I'll have to.
Okay. So because really this is Swansea Council money,
Yeah.
so I should do it through Swansea Council, and it's easier, isn't it?
Yeah, but the two areas which I wanted done, I was hoping to make it sort of showcase it was MCC and how we'd done it without anything being sprayed and.
Well, that will be NCC, but that'll be separate from your.
No, because I'll be doing those two areas, you see. So.
Well, obviously, it's
Don't
not
worry
you will be
anyway,
working
yeah,
on it.
yeah.
As I say, I think we can't start getting into sort of, you know, if you as a councillor want to put extra money in, that's fine, and that can be allocated to a particular place. But I don't, as Lydia said, I don't think we want to start getting into kind of individual planting, you know, that's sort of not included. What we can say is those bulbs will be part of what is put in West Cross.
That's okay, I just want clarification.
Okay. Right. Okay. Thanks very much for that, Paul.
Okay, thanks.
25, 26.
It might be useful if you put the budget monitoring report up again, Phil, because that has the current year's budget.
Okie dokie, bear with me, Mike.
Okay, thanks.
It just feels like we stopped talking about
I know.
literally 3 metres ago we were things like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does come around terribly soon.
Yeah.
This one again,
Thanks,
Paul?
Phil. Yeah, that's it. Great. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, I reported to council, last full council, about starting early on next year's budget, the 25-26 budget. So what I wanted to give an opportunity was for committees to have a good think and a good discussion about what they want to include in next year's budget. Because I think in recent years, certainly last year, we didn't start till September, maybe October, and there wasn't a great deal of time then before committees had to approve their budgets, and then they were reported to council towards the end of January. So what I wanted all committees to do this month is really to start an initial discussion on what they think next year's budget is going to look like, where they think things need add-in, need new projects, or where money can be moved around. And the idea is then that over the course of the summer, if there is work required in terms of research and obtaining costs, then that can be done. And then come September, October, you can finalise your draft budget for 25-26, and then it can be approved at your November meeting, which means there's no need to have any meetings in December if you don't want to have as a committee, and then everything is ready to go then for the budget scrutiny meeting in December, and then the budget setting meeting towards the end of January. Well, I've asked Phil to put this back up because there's your budget for 24-25, 43,500. 50% of that is Castlewood. So it's I think what the committee should really be doing now is going through those, thinking about do they need to be there next year? Do they need to be added to? Or what new proposals would you like council to consider in January?
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thanks. Right. So that is our job for now. Briefly,
Can I say something I do feel passionately about, and I know you feel it takes too much work and time. We need to get into the schools. We need to educate the next generation. It's the main important thing for environmental to do, an environmental officer to do, I think. So I think that should be taken into consideration.
The difficulty is, how do we do it? And we tried last year and we could not get buy-in from the schools. So how do we?
I think it's a,
Yeah, I mean, I agree we should, but it's how do we go about it?
I think there's an opportunity to, particularly when it comes to next year's budget, to look at the ways that projects or working or sort of cross-working in the community can go ahead. But I think we need to put down sort of a written proposal so that we can all
We do, yeah.
sort of, get around and have a look at it and actually sort of try and see, perhaps with the new EEO and Ash, if Ash wants to be involved in that, how that sort of could actually be figured into.
So we're talking about schools here.
Yeah, well, not just schools, but other.
Well, let's
stakeholders,
deal with the
other
schools
stakeholders,
first,
yes.
because if you've got a proposal, we'll talk about that separately. That's what we're looking at here, is people putting in
I
proposals.
just sorry, I've volunteered for years in Llanderw, and
I know.
I'm so delighted to have somebody say, okay, I'm coming in, I'm going to do this project. So I don't understand what's changed unless the head teacher's more negative about it.
Would that be tied into another project? So for focusing on getting more involvement with schools from that, or
Yeah,
if Jubilee Gardens is up and running,
Problem with
that, or the was in Bloom and really focusing that on schools.
If I mean, what I was thinking in terms of, I completely understand. It's much simpler to tie into projects, but I think there's we have a responsibility to some extent under the Future Wellbeing Act to start to sort of try and sow environmental learning, I suppose, right.
I mean, it's built into the curriculum now for
So,
primary.
I mean, I'm very much aware that Lydia's done work, with the fun days and, Underhill and with things where there've been environmental, we've done bug hunts, and then of course there's been the volunteering, the volunteer days, and then of course recently you've done work with the Cub Scouts as well, which has been really positive. So, but I think from where I'm sitting in terms of a proposal for next year and a budgetary something is to really, use our collective imaginations, as it were, to try and start working with the schools in perhaps a little bit more of a structured way.
I know, sorry, Helen.
Sorry, yes, can it just,
you first.
no, Mike is waiting. Mike. Hello?
You're on mute, Mike. I don't know whether you'll be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Well done.
Yep.
Yeah. Good. I just want to say I just wholly support that in terms of education, because I think education of the young generation is absolutely key to this whole success, to be honest with you. And I think it's more education as well. There's some education that must be going on in schools, because my 5-year-old daughter came home and told me off for running the tap too long when I was brushing my teeth the other day, because she said that she was saving the polar bears. So I think there is something obviously taking place there. And I think to do a structured learning of some kind is absolutely key. And I'd wholly support, I think it was Sarah who raised that we should be looking at that in a very structured way to do that. I'm wholly behind that.
Alan.
So I think in this conversation, I think we just need to maybe give some headline thoughts and not get into too much.
Yeah.
I like the idea of doing stuff with schools. I just think there has to be an element of caution around it as well, because otherwise, like, not Lydia replacement, Ash, me, you and two, we could all spend all time at the schools. It would absolutely suck you in. But say, and I keep mentioning Lydia, but I can't. Lydia's replacement will get a full programme of work. So I think it's to what extent we can think creatively about additional stuff. And the thing is, even with additional stuff, there's an element of coordination, so we have to factor that in as well. But you know when we did that guy who came, Matt Green, who came into the you know, Mike was there. Mike was really chomping at the bit to get him into schools. He wanted to get and then even if it was voted down in full council. I think it was next year to get him to run like a couple of workshops. So I think we can think about doing that in a more. But I think maybe if we are thinking of that, we should think about talking to the schools to actually find out what would be most effective. Because I think money for a green thing was a really ineffective use of everyone's time. So let's talk to the teachers or the leaders.
The trouble is, we can't now, it's too late.
No,
But we can do it in September.
yeah.
But then we're not going to get the proposal in.
Well, perhaps maybe you focus next year on doing some, you know, networking with the
Well,
school.
that's what I'm thinking.
School involvement.
School involvement project that doesn't really include, you know,
Space for a big funding bid.
So I bet there's another
Sorry,
school.
don't forget people on the screen can't hear if everyone's talking.
Apologies, everyone. It's me getting overexcited. I know that some of the schools, Longderry, for instance, have a green, looking for their green flag. Now, I know that they have groups of children that do this stuff. You could ask for one of them to come to an environmental meeting from each school and discuss, or they don't come well in ones, but a few of them to come and discuss the children, to link them in with the environment and then go back. So they
would have to have a very clear brief as to exactly what.
Yes.
Well, we'd have to discuss it with the
And again,
teachers.
I just say, I think we're getting a level.
You put a proposal together, but be mindful of the fact that when you're saying you're assuming that every councillor is going to be in the school spending time doing this, and that's not realistic because quite a lot of our councillors work full time. They don't have the time to go in and spend a day a week or whatever, half a day a week in with the schools.
No.
And realistically, 7 schools, and again, we don't have the staff, the staff time. So just be mindful when
Yes.
that there is a limited amount of time. So it's how we focus
So I
and maximise the benefits.
thanks for that, because as a relatively new member of the committee, it's been able to sort of focus. And again, I think Lydia just pointing out that actually you need to stitch that into something solid. That can be.
That's it. That they can actually hook on to.
And elsewhere, because when you start doing stuff elsewhere, it's just a handful of kids that go, and it takes all they've got to sign all the paperwork. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
It's not nature reserve. They are doing that already. So that is something that they are doing.
Lydia's got.
Not the whole school at once. Lydia.
Suggestion. One thing that from doing the work plan and handover for the next CEO that I've noted is that things need allotted time for planning.
Yes.
So we have new projects every year, and it's like, okay, that needs to be done and spent this year. But there's no time for planning in that allotted into that. So I really think that if you're going to be adding big new, because that would be a very large project.
It would.
If you're going to be adding really large projects, I think you do need to just take a bit of a, okay, this is something that we'll do, put a small budget in that for networking and planning.
And perhaps that comes back to what I was thinking of when I first raised my hand, which is about making the bee-friendly streets, which is a project we started on, but haven't been able to invest as much time or energy in as perhaps being, one of the key things to move forward with a budget.
Yeah, well, let's come on to that as another. So if I put your name next to schools, if you could do a proposal and, you know, to just, and I think, you know, it's absolutely critical what Lydia said. The most important thing is putting in that time for the planning and actually selling it to the schools before, you know, so that they've got buy-in. We're feeding their ideas back into, you know, what we're going to do, because it's got to fit in with the time they've got, the focus, you know, because they obviously have different themes that they work on. So we can do that. I mean, and I think it would be brilliant, you know, if we can get all the
Well, it's about priorities, isn't it? If we are serious about future proofing and getting children involved environmentally, let's face it, they're the ones inheriting this earth. I think that's where our focus should be.
Right. So Helen.
So yeah, in long term, so I've not seen that work plan, but it's going to be full, isn't it? So we're thinking about the budget for next year anyway.
Yes.
So I think, you know, we should use this time to start getting some ideas together, start talking to people.
Absolutely.
And we know we don't have to deliver all of this next year. I think if we've got an intent to let's make this a stronger part of our work thing as an organisation. Let's try and use this time, not to think we've got to deliver it now, but to do the talking, to do the planning, to get an evidence base.
Yeah.
So then we might not even be, we won't be ready by next year, but to deliver it in a strong way, in a more longer term time frame, I think we'll end up doing something better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. I think that if you are going to make a real impact on younger people, I really believe we just need to do it long term.
Yeah.
And it needs to be something that you can carry on. And I think that means that the schools really need to be engaged in that process. But for the rest of the budget, I would just say that the work plan, maybe have a look at the work plan. When you're thinking about it in the next month or two, have a look at the work plan and see where it would fit in there, where budgets can be moved around. Because I have a couple of suggestions about moving budgets around. I think the climate emergency budget is too high. And I think that the Mumbles, Buzz and Bloom and the bulbs and wildflowers is too low. So
don't forget we don't have to just work within that budget.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Keep the budget at that level and
and I would add to bulbs and wildflower and Mumbles, Buzz and Bloom, definitely. And if you need to keep climate emergency the same if you feel like you need to, but if you need to move, if you're not getting the budget, that's where I would suggest moving things around.
So add to wildflowers and bulbs and add to buzz and bloom. Yeah.
I would definitely agree to add to bulbs because I think that always goes down really well, doesn't it, in the community?
Yeah. And bee friendly streets,
which I would argue is perhaps part of the climate emergency, because of course that then adds to biodiversity. Yes.
So what we might do is break climate emergency down into a series of actions. So can I put your name next to a proposal for bee friendly streets?
Absolutely.
Fab. Thank you, Phil. Okay. So Helen?
I'll say one final thing about the youth thing. I think it's great to focus on the 7 primaries, but then I think there's obviously all the kids who are and older and go to a variety of comps, including Goir, Bishop Gore,
Bishopston.
It's great doing stuff for young kids. I think a lot of the stuff we currently run, like all the bug hunts, is really focused on that age group. I don't think we really do anything. And it's really flaming hard to get any activities for a kid who's older than 11. It's like there's nothing.
So Helen, can I put your name down to some ideas for the 11 to 14 age range? That would be brilliant.
Comprehensive, because I did try, was that they say, well, look, we're more structured, we're aimed at exams, we just don't have the...
I think what Helen's talking about is out of school activities, to look and see if we can set things up that will engage that age group.
The ones who are in their phones like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Linden, I paid for some stuff, compost and given plants to do.
But again, that's one, we need to broaden that out. So I think it's a great idea, brilliant. I had an idea and I've completely forgotten it, yes. It's sort of linked in with that. I mean, I'm conscious that an awful lot of people, even who live here, don't actually know where there are really interesting natural spaces of interest. And what I want to do is try and get experts in who we could do, like Tavion with his fungus, which he does in Klein Gardens. We'll get him to come and do something somewhere else. Sean, to do walks on Mumbles Hill, looking at, the nature reserve up there and the different, species. So I would like some money to pay that green for beaches, to just run those series of just events or walks or, whatever you want to call them. And just maybe, every couple of months we have a different one. We'll try them out, starting next year, say 2 or 3, see how it works. Probably more in sort of spring and autumn, because winter, a lot of things are not, in terms of insects and things, they're all supposedly tucked up in bed in winter. So, if we could look at something, an autumn one, a spring one and a summer one to start with next year.
Bats were very popular when
did that. Yes, that's right. So I'm happy to put a proposal in for that.
And the Klein Valley group, they do a lot of that similar thing, but it's just up the Klein Valley, isn't there?
That's right. There's no reason why, we've got Jubilee Gardens, we've got the Nature Reserve, we've got Mumbles Hill, we've got Peel Woods, we've got loads of, Castle Woods, all these different areas. And, you talk to people, so you see them looking, thinking, where is that? What is it? So, Washing House Brook would be brilliant. Do some work down there. Get people actually using it, and enjoying it and realising what a pleasure it is to go to these places. So that I will put my name forward. Right, so there you are, Paul. We've made a start. Paul, what would you like to say to all that?
Yeah, what I was going to say was, excellent ideas. But if you wanted to start moving things around, as Lydia suggested, from climate emergency, you don't have to wait to next year's budget. You could do that this year. If you wanted to say we want to spend an X amount more on the Green Heroes events or the bulbs and wildflower planting, you could put a recommendation to council to via from climate emergencies into those budgets. So it's not something you've got to wait until next year to action.
Yeah, good thinking. You're right. Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of Mumbles Green Heroes, you could incorporate your idea into there, isn't it? Because Tavion is like a green hero. You could have some that were in, some that were out.
What about was Green Heroes field trips?
Yes, there we are. Special. Have that. Yes.
Involved in this, or is this?
Sorry?
This is just evening ones again, or can schools be involved in this?
So you can put that in your schools thing. This is like families, adults.
It's really good for teachers.
It's not just with schools. So if you can, obviously that'll be part of the work with schools. This is more just, any, like the people who come to Mumbles Green Heroes, that could be kids, could be adults. So it's
where we've got to reach out to people who have been.
Exactly. That's what this is aimed at. It's those people who aren't aware of the actual natural resources that we have on our doorstep.
Great. I think that's a really productive discussion.
Great. Okay. That's brilliant. Thanks. And so that's something maybe for September, if I could maybe say, if you could look at just get the current prices for bulbs and wildflowers and look at realistically how much we need to.
Yeah, I suppose it's worth.
And then we could look at where we could maybe buy us some money this year. So if you could do that for the September meeting and give us like a budget of what you think we should be spending to do autumn planting and spring planting.
I think it'd be nice if I can sort of like go around with, you know, you
Yeah,
guys.
me too.
There's a different.
Yeah, look around.
Ideally, this is what we would like. Then I can sort of like measure everything out and sort of be like, all right,
Yeah.
go back, put things together.
Well, that's an option, Ian.
Yes.
To arrange for Ash to work with the individual councillors to actually look at the particular areas that people want covered within their areas. And then, yes, you'll have a clearer idea. So we can do that over the summer, then you will know how much you will need.
I think if we can do it like as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that, you know, just get the ball rolling, otherwise the autumn will come and go.
Yeah, exactly. That, which is what happens. Yeah. So if we can get something, so maybe that could go, if you could ask Kerry if that could be on the agenda for the special meeting at the end of July.
For the approval for the file.
Ask councillors from each ward to arrange with Ash to.
Yeah, they can just email me or give
Yeah.
like Monday, Thursday.
Here we've got Males, we've got Oystermouth, we've got West Cross, but we don't have anyone here, and there isn't anyone. Mike Oystermouth as well. See, Mike Oystermouth, Chris's Males, Helen's Males. We haven't got anyone on this committee from Newton, so that's why we need to go to full council and say, please.
And that's you've been on this committee before, isn't it? So she'd get.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Let's try to do. Yeah.
Okay, really good.
I'm just asking to formally approve the budget report.
Oh, sorry.
Also, as we're on it, the budget for 2025-26. If we
Right.
approve Paul's proposals as well.
Yeah, Mike, we'll just do our show of hands to approve and then I'll come back to you, all right? So if we could just approve the budget. Fab, thanks very much. Right, Mike, yeah.
You're still on mute, Mike. Oh, well done. We can hear you now.
No, we can't. Right,
Can
we
you
can't.
hear me now?
Yeah, that's it.
Can I just clarify, Carrie, sorry, that if we've got ideas for the budget for next year, are we sending them to yourself, Carrie?
Well, what, if you've seen Paul's budget proposal form, but if you haven't got it, Paul can send it to you. If you fill that in, and then yes, if you can send it, well, I suppose it comes into me as chair, and I can then share it with the rest of the committee, so that by September meeting we've got all the ideas coming in, and we can then actually sit down and talk about them in September. So yeah, if you could do that over the summer for any ideas you've got, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, good. I've got one around the 3 R's, which is like reuse, recycle, refurbish as well. So I've got an idea around that. So I'll drop something to you on that, Carrie. Thank you.
Brilliant. I shall put your name next to that. That's fantastic. Thanks, Mike.
What I'll do this week, Chair, is I'll circulate the new budget proposal form for next year. So I'll send it to all councillors so they've got a copy to use.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Paul.
Just like to ask a quick question about the current climate and urgency budget. What spending have we got allocated under this budget for this year?
Well, we haven't spent anything yet.
Okay, so are there any projects? Are there any projects?
Climate leave is the main thing.
So,
But it will incur costs as we go forward.
all I wanted to do was to clarify that actually we might have some seed money there
Exactly.
to
start working on
to
things.
start working and bringing things together, even if not.
Yeah, I mean, if we could use that £5,000 for climate emergency to do some of that planning this year ready, and so that the proposals that come through, we can look at them, and those that we feel are important and will need work, we can, and that fit in with that climate emergency heading, we can use some of that money to do that planning and preparing.
Excellent.
Okay, that would be great. Brilliant, thanks. Okay, thanks very much, Paul. I think that's finally we got to everything, and yeah, it's 20 to 8 already. We've got 20 minutes to get through everything else.
Sorry, Chair, Ian, did you require us to have 2 votes on the 2 separate things, the approval of the budget and?
Actually, the second on Paul's budget proposal. I just want to check, Chair, if you don't mind. There's no recommendation in relation to firing or anything at the moment for this month, is there? We'll wait till September, that's correct.
We'll wait till we've got Paul's year-end report, and so we can look at what needs to be fired from that, and then if there's anything from this year that we need to. So we'll deal with that in September, yeah. Okay, well, the Environmental Action Plan, I do hope you've all read it. It is the most impressive piece of work I've ever seen, I think.
It's a humongous compliment.
It's unbelievable. It's just so comprehensive. You know, it's literally a roadmap for anyone who can just step into Lydia's role, and she's just told them exactly what needs to be done for every single thing. Have you not read it?
I'm really sorry. I admitted
It's
it.
only 20, how many pages is it? No. I mean, it is fantastic, and I put it on the agenda just because, you know, it is really important, and it's got everything laid out there under all the different headings, and that is how, you know, we know what our budget should be being spent on, because it's all in Lydia's action plans.
Has Kerry seen it?
Oh, yes.
Because I've always felt that there are no action plans, are there, in this organisation?
Kerry's taken a blank document of it
Fab.
to use
Because
as an
It'd be
action
great
plan.
for other committees to follow that one.
Yes. So, yes, so if you go through this, and you will see from it, it identifies what comes under the different headings.
Is it, I haven't looked at it yet. Is it got anything engaging with children at schools or anything?
It's everything for this year. It's not including anything next year.
Yeah, this is all about this year's.
Things that have been done and things
Yeah,
that need to be
so what you need to do is read through it and look at where you think there are gaps or where you want to add
a lot.
in additional things.
A lot of it is things that happen at monthly.
Yes,
And, you know, take up quite a lot of time happening monthly.
the litter picks and the volunteer days. Yeah,
Associated with those. So and then things that carry forward to next year as well, that maybe just happen once a year, but are still continuously happening. Some of them are things that have just happened once, which aren't very many.
okay, so if you can, as I say, it's only 52 pages, you know.
You don't need to read exactly what the actions are in all of them, because they are mainly for the new year to look at it and say that's exactly what I need to do and when I need to do it.
It's the heading you need to look at. Yeah,
And outcomes and things.
yeah, so that you can see, and I mean, it's fantastic because it literally gives a complete breakdown of
You
everything.
also sent us a link to that on WhatsApp.
I did,
That's great.
yeah. Okay, so, yeah, please do look at it. Mine is just the first iteration, so it's not very many pages long at all. And it's on Teams.
That's the link to the update.
Yeah,
All right, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
okay. So has anybody got any comments, for those of you who I'm sure have read it? Word for word?
Last year's.
Okay, so the action basically from that is to everyone to go away, read through it, spend your summer just reading through it.
Take a holiday.
Take on holiday. And
Yeah.
anything else that you feel needs to be included in it, linked to this year's budget, because that is, you know, obviously what it's related to, then obviously we can pick those up in September.
That's lovely.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lydia.
Yeah, brilliant job, fantastic. Jubilee Gardens budget, is there anything we need to?
So Jubilee Gardens, we've got a bit of a tricky situation with Jubilee Gardens. So with the maintenance agreement, I did the application assuming that we had a maintenance agreement in place because we've been maintaining it or not maintaining it for a long time now. And when I went to try and get that maintenance agreement when we got the grant, we didn't have one, and I should have had
For anything?
yeah with the council because it's on land.
Oh.
So I've been trying since we got the grant funding. I've been trying to get in touch with Swansea Council, and only really got a breakthrough in the past couple of weeks. And turns out they don't have one, and they want to write. We've asked them to write a new one, and Kerry's. I've handed that over to Kerry, and Kerry said she'd get back to me today about it, and she hasn't. So I'm assuming there isn't one.
So who's the person who's dealing with the Swansea Council?
It was Simon Vidjar, but then it was this person that needed to approve it. Who sadly his mum's passed away. So
David Price, dear.
yeah. So it's looking like we might not be able to carry on with the project.
Oh, sugar.
Yeah, because Kerry's not very keen on carrying on without a maintenance agreement. She doesn't want the implications come with that, which is such a shame because we've got all the plans in place. And we've agreed some things which I'll have to go through and cancel all of those works. If we can't go.
So that's quite a big issue, isn't it? Not going to see what
We've like you for the last 20 years that we look after it, and Swansea Council have always assumed that we look after it. Yeah, they're just banging against the door. And maybe somewhere 20 years ago, back in the dim and distant past, there was some message that passed between
there really needs to be
the two councils, but it's recorded that we find.
So this question. So is the issue the Swansea Council are happy to go into this agreement? There's just going to be a delay.
Yeah.
And so if that is the case, how much of a delay? And what are the funders saying about that delay? Are the funders saying?
This is the thing. I've spoken to the funders and they said there's absolutely no way we can get any extension because
we already had an extension, didn't we?
Not for this one. For Norton Nature Reserve, we had a lot of extensions. But I this week I had an email from the person I'm dealing with through National Lottery, and she asked me how things were going, whether we'd be able to get things done in time. So what I might do is, once I get an update from Kerry, is then email her and say, this is the situation we've got. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a while, but Swansea Council have said that they're happy for us to maintain it. They just haven't got a maintenance agreement in place.
Yeah.
And it will take a long time now because the people that we need to contact.
When you say a long time, do you mean like months, weeks?
I don't know, months for Swansea Council probably.
Yeah.
I think the grant funding was meant to be spent by the end of October. So it's either we give the money back, we apply for another grant at a later date, or we beg and plead for an extension and wait.
But you go as well. That's
So
I was just looking because I was interested in how Jubilee Gardens looked previously. So Mum was Jubilee Council had posted pictures 2 years ago of them doing maintenance work on it.
Yeah.
So I was just confused then and be like,
we haven't the agreement.
yeah.
It's not what's to go to, which is why it needs to be done properly.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, can we move on?
This is quite a big issue, isn't it? So what are the next steps?
Well, it's Jerry and
Speak to not
yeah.
see what they think we should do. But it's my bad for not checking. Should have checked. It was a very rushed application when I sent the application in, so I just needed to get it in and didn't have time to check these things. And then I didn't start checking until we got the money through and accepted the grant, which in hindsight, I should have had that in place before we started.
Well,
but we don't
have formal agreements with any of, we notionally look after these things, but we don't actually have any formal agreements.
Yeah.
It has been raised by I've asked Will Thomas. There was a list of potential community asset transfers, and it was sort of referred to in that, but without anything definite.
I think that's something we have to nail, I think, isn't it? Because I think we have, for all the sites, we need more certainty about.
This is what I'm saying about planning before we do things, is that it
Yeah.
was a bit of, oh, there's this grant funding, which it is the case of grant funding, but it maybe needed a bit more.
Yeah, sorry, can we move on because we're not actually going to go any further with this at the moment. Kerry is doing her best to get with Swansea Council, and we just have to wait and see. And then we'll know from there.
What's up next then, Chair?
Mumbles, Buzz and Bloom, how are we?
We only have 5 entries.
Well, it's 3 more than we had before.
Yeah.
I know Phil's been out.
We've got lots of entries to put in.
Ah,
Oh, good, yes.
Yeah.
I literally walk around thinking number 25, Fairwood.
yeah, we say.
I haven't put them in myself yet.
Have you put the have you put the
Oh, crap.
I'll review it. Maybe this way that you don't be there, but I've asked one person who is willing to.
Well, I need to get them in by next Tuesday, because by Friday I was going to make the Friday I was going to make the decision of we don't have enough applicants, because I think that if we have under 10, it's not worth doing.
Yeah.
So.
One very small comment on Friday from the person that we are hoping will still put themselves in, so that they couldn't use the QR code.
It's on the website, and I've put on the poster
Yeah.
the website as well.
Yeah.
She's older.
They're internet savvy.
This is the thing I'm having. I realised after doing the Survey Monkey as the form of people applying, was that our target audience maybe doesn't use the internet that much.
Yeah.
But also, in terms of doing it any other way, there would be no way that we could do it any other way, because it would just be a huge amount of work trying to filter in different types of
We used to do it just as Helen's been doing, is just go around, look at take pictures.
I know, you keep hearing that, but the problem is that I feel like it used to be a project that was run a lot by councillors, and I feel like it hadn't had much councillor, apart from the part of key people have been putting flyers through in the past few weeks. Like, there hasn't been enough councillor involvement in this project for it to work for it to work that way. And I've heard lots of ways of how it used to be done, but it was part of Swansea and Bloom, so maybe that's why people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We did Mumbles in Bloom as well.
yeah.
Yes, but it was linked in with the formal Wales input.
So
Yeah.
maybe the way that you used to do it was the best way, but as one person, this was the only way that you can do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's,
So I mean,
it has been brainstorm for next year. Next year, if there could be more councillor involvement. Also, I have had some banners made for next year. 'Cause it's too late now to put early outside the Austrian Centre. So they're on recycled plastic banners. They have the same deadline. They have the deadline on, but if you use the same deadline next year.
I think the main problem is people are too modest. They're not going to put.
I know. I had a long conversation with a lady at Beaufort Avenue who was saying, "Oh no, I can't possibly, put myself forward." So please do, please.
Doing the cards like we did before, and with saying we think your garden's beautiful. We've entered you.
Well, maybe there needs to be, for the project, this is like the project next year, there needs to be a steering group for that project.
Yeah, it needs to be so. Yeah, because people don't have the time necessarily, and what we can't have a position where somebody's really active in, say, West Cross, and all of West Cross gets an opportunity to enter, but nobody in Newton has got time to do it, so nobody in Newton gets the opportunity. So we do need to think about how we do it. Well, we did more in places we knew. the places we will.
Yeah, there we go. Then next year, maybe
Yeah.
you have a bit of a meeting and talk about, what you used to do, what work this year.
Ian, you could put that as an agenda item for September as a feedback on this year's and plans for next year.
Sorry, what it is, I haven't quite digested. I've had the posters up,
Yeah.
for about 2 months now. I hadn't quite digested, so this is my being honest and idiot. I just always thought when you said, "Oh, we haven't got many applications," I thought, "Oh my God, I got loads I'm going to put in." And I just haven't quite realised that it had to be from the person.
Yeah, because obviously, some of the categories, like is ornamental garden is just somebody's front garden, but wildlife garden or community gardens or grow your own, they're not going to be front gardens, so they need the person to, because you can't just walk into some garden.
See, that makes you more marketing there, because front gardens used to be the thing, because what you're saying as a community councillor is you're making people happy.
We know what it used to be, but we did agree that that's not totally environmentally friendly just to have a sort of
change of
non-pollinator, brightly coloured flowers in your front garden.
Time.
Well, it was
We
mostly.
had tidy and that's a judge. So
We've got 2 minutes.
Yeah, and so let's move on. So we will look at how we're going to do it next year. So if you've got ideas, bring them to September meeting, and we'll look at how we can do more effectively next year. Big Climate Leap Action Plan, is there anything?
I need to, before I leave, I'm going to chase Sunny and give him a bit of an email just saying that I'm leaving, and give him Kerry's contact details and
Ready for the new person to pick up.
with Kerry and ready for the new person to pick up. But he hasn't. I'm going to chase him about that because he hasn't got back to me for a while. So yeah.
Okay, right. Promoting volunteer days.
Again, I think
Just
that
keep
council
promoting
involvement is really
Yeah.
important there, because you're all the people that are in the community. Like me and Ash don't live in Mumbles.
Yeah.
We and Claire's does all of the marketing online. And as we know that with like the Mumbles Buzz and Bloom things, marketing doesn't necessarily work there.
Yeah.
And being out and about in the community is, I think, where councillors come in. And that's where I think that would be a real help for any projects that we do, because that's not necessarily what me, Ash or Claire can do. We don't have the time or the influence in the community to do that and to do it effectively.
Yeah, it needs by councillors to be actively.
Yeah, and not just councillors in this committee, if we can reach outside of the committee, just to, even if you're just passing someone on, talking to someone that's a friend, just mention it in a conversation, and that's all we need. Really, because obviously I'm not going to be mentioning it in a conversation to someone that lives in Mumbles.
Let's share it up. Is it once a month? Thursday.
First Thursday of the month or third Saturday of the month.
Yeah.
Again, Chair, we had a little quick conversation that was in the last meeting, or whether.
So I'm conscious that we are short.
Yes, absolutely. But again, there's an opportunity here to look at perhaps rejigging and perhaps thinking about volunteer times, perhaps after school times as well.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. And it's it's the whole. We need to we can look at the whole thing.
Yeah.
How we take that forward, and obviously somebody new's coming in, they may have some other ideas as well. So.
And time constraints and availability.
Exactly. That's, which inevitably is always the issue. Okay. Mumbles Green Heroes is Wednesday, everybody. Don't forget.
It's Wednesday, isn't it?
It is Wednesday, 2 days' time. So please come along and find out all about the seals.
Register in advance.
Yeah.
So my apologies. We've got a few bits and pieces to tie up, unfortunately.
Wednesday.
Oh my God, brilliant.
He is brilliant, really good, and it's a really interesting talk. My boyfriend went to one and he came back obsessed with seals. sensitive images, because to try and portray like the effects that we have in seals. So there's, like, for example, there's some with where seals have like a frisbee around their neck. Which aren't very pleasant. So I didn't want to close it off to kids, but just as a warning.
For guidance.
Yes. Okay, great. So hopefully we'll get lots of people along to that on Wednesday. Monthly report, current projects and overview. Can we just defer that?
Yeah, I realised that I hadn't uploaded it, so I uploaded it today, so you're welcome to have a look.
All right.
Before I leave is sorting out Jubilee Gardens and the
Yeah.
Mumbles Buzz and Bloom, and then
Yeah.
and the whole of August I'm away for 2 weeks. Focus the 2 weeks that I'm here on Dover and doing the
Yeah.
so
West Bus,
that's as much as I can do in the time.
Sure. Okay, right. Signpost location for Norton Nature Reserve. Well, obviously we now don't have the mystical sign that it was definitely there before. I remember having a conversation about it. So what do you need to know in terms of locations?
Where should we put it?
Right, well, we definitely need to have it somewhere prominent on the road.
Are we going? Do you think my idea when thinking of where to put it would be on that bed, on the alleyway that goes up to Norton Nature Reserve, the big gate,
Yeah,
on that corner,
yeah,
where the curved wall is, and have a sign above that curved wall, but what permissions do we need?
well, we need to speak to Swansea Council, so this would be an action, I imagine, for Kerry to, or Lydia, so that's exactly where that old sign used to be, so one would hope, as they had a sign there before, they would be happy for us to.
Yeah, and then we can go ahead and we have a logo. We put the logo for Norton Nature Reserve, the logo for Welsh Government and National Lottery,
Yeah.
and our logo on there, and then maybe just say community garden, welcome community garden this way, or something like that. So
Yeah, we could get, yeah,
pretty
get some
simple
sort of ideas, yeah.
get done. But it just we need to order one and get permission to put it there.
Yeah. And we also, at the same time, we need to get permission to put signs on the prom, pointing to the Norton Nature Reserve, but most importantly to the bottle fillers. So that we have 2 signs, one opposite Oystermouth Square toilets for the bottle filler there, and one opposite Norton Nature Reserve, directing them to the bottle filler there.
So the MCC sign still is not on the Klein.
No, I know.
Bottle filler. You know, we had this conversation millions of times with Martin. The actually was saying it was, and it most definitely is not.
Is that the small little one?
Yeah.
I'll do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I was there today.
There's definitely one in the castle, so I don't know how Klein got missed. Anyway, so we need to get permission from Swansea Council for a sign for Norton Nature Reserve and signs on the prom, just like little finger posts pointing to the bottle fillers. So that would be an action for
I will speak
Lydia
to
to Kerry for that. Okay, I mean, it may be that the one by Oystermouth Square will probably, well, mind you, it'll take a long time to get permission, but it'll obviously wait until the work on the prom's finished. Could be there putting something till all that's done. But further along, what I was thinking, the best place probably would be to put it like because there's not a crossing by Norton Nature Reserve, but there is next to Jubilee Gardens.
Yeah.
That we put a sign there saying bottle filler available in Norton Nature Reserve. Yeah, so that people can see, in just like 100 meters or whatever, so it's easy for people to. Okay, any other comments? I know we have got slow worms on there as well, but that would also need you to have I don't know where they are, so you would need to give us some ideas as to where the sign would need to go.
Yeah.
Okay, Fran? Thanks, Phil. Okay, NCC website SA1, I suspect that would be alongside school. Can we defer that to September?
Yeah, I sent you already about it.
So
I'll send it.
all it.
I'll ask you.
If you go on.
John will be busy.
Right. You have an update?
I've spoken to Powell. He's asked if the store of the bar if possible. I'm willing to put that to it.
Right, well, I thought I would go straight to the top. So I actually emailed Cyril Anderson, who is the cabinet member responsible for bins and recycling. He came straight back to me. He said he would sort it out. And he asked how many people. I said probably about 10 to 12, no more than that. And hopefully he's going to sort it. So hopefully he will also speak to, and so that might just move things along a bit quicker.
I'll put that in my handover, the possibility for the autumn Green Heroes. Or
Well, we're just going to go. Yeah.
well, is it just going to be councillors or is it going to be one of the green? Because I was under the impression it's going to be a green.
Just councillors.
Okay, so
Wasn't this a couple of members of the, I wasn't at that one, but wasn't this members of the public?
I'm thinking of so if we could send 30 people, but what we could do, I think we go first, then we talk to them and say, would it be possible to arrange for a second group made up of members of the public to also go? But I think let us go first and have a look so we can tell people basically what to expect.
Oh, they will.
So Carrie, are you okay to carry on with that conversation?
Yeah. I'll
add it
up with Kerry.
That should be something.
Yeah. So yes, so my thinking is firstly it would just be us. And then as I say, once we know, and we can then say to the public, you will need to wear, suitable clothing, or you need safety boots, or, be prepared for, because that's why I want us to go first.
Yeah.
So we know what's involved.
Great stuff.
And how long it'll take and all that kind of thing. Okay, right, Woodland Trust free tree packs. Ash has, I don't suppose you can put up the link. Have you got the link to the Woodland Trust paper? Probably not. Because Ash has had a look and we know how big it is. It's 362 metres. I presume it's metres.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So what's that, 262 metres?
362.
Yeah, what is?
The length that we've got to put the hedge along.
Oh, right, yes, yeah.
Oh, right, sorry, okay.
What would it be under on this?
Well, I emailed, no, I don't think it'd be on an email. I emailed it out to everyone. I'm not in the meeting, so I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, has everyone had a look at it? So you sort of vaguely know what we're talking about? Chris, Mike? I think it was on a WhatsApp.
All right, well, I can't access WhatsApp.
But it was also on an email. I originally sent it in an email.
Community asset transfer? No, that wasn't it.
No,
Sweet.
Woodland Trust.
Next meeting, I've got an agenda, but I haven't got any other attachments to anything else that you sent me apart from an agenda. Community asset transfer.
What's community asset transfer?
Public reports pack.
No idea what that is.
I do remember something about Woodland Trust packs.
Yes,
There was
it
a
was,
time
I
limit on
think-
them.
Out about a month ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I sent it on an email.
Anyway, what's it roughly about?
Right, but it's free. It's an offer of free trees, and so it's the ideal opportunity to get the hedge put in along that green section next to the skate park.
Correct.
Without it costing us anything.
Brilliant.
And 420 trees will cover, which have I got it here? Right, what Ash has suggested, when the rest of you do find the link, is that we go for the wild wood pack.
The only reason why I suggested them is because like the different packs offered like different varieties.
Yeah.
And there were some varieties there that will not do well, especially like sort of early on in their life, in like a cold environment with like wind, salt and everything. With that.
That's exactly why I asked for your recommendation. It basically says, will tolerate exposed sites and help dry up wet areas. Those are the two key things that, you know, we're looking for it to do. And the species included are holly, hazel, crabapple, downy birch, hawthorn and goat willow.
It's nice to have some fruiting trees in there.
Yeah, which would be nice.
Yeah.
And 420 saplings will be do 100 meters of double width, which apparently is what we need for a hedge.
Yeah, it'd be like staggered, so
Yeah.
almost like triangles, like
Yeah.
type of thing.
Right, and so 362 meters, we will need 4 packs.
Okay.
So are we all happy to go ahead and get these ordered?
And it's free.
They're free. They cost no money. This is why I'm sure Paul's ears pricked up at the. Here we are, brilliant. If you could just go down to.
Brilliant, that is Carrie.
Yeah.
Whoever spotted that.
It was sent very helpfully by Robin Bonham from Mumbles Development Trust. Very helpfully sent it to me and said that NCC might be interested. You
Yeah.
scroll down till you get, you'll see the wild wood.
Because
Next one, yeah, that's it. So that's the pack. You can apply for as many packs as you need, so
Yeah, so
it's an awful lot of trees.
yeah, I worked it out roughly in terms of like the space and stuff. So I put it down as just 350 meters, and it said we'd need like just over 780 plants.
So we can go for 2 packs then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
May I?
yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question? I'm assuming all of these trees are good for the environment. I'm not the expert on trees, but some of them apparently are not good for the environment. So I just want to double check that before you ask the question.
Having a mix of trees is better for carbon sequestration than having fruiting trees obviously is great for birds. I'm assuming they're all native.
They're hardly native species.
Yes, native. So I can't see any reason why they wouldn't be beneficial.
Okay, Chris?
Just don't want.
Yeah, that's a really good.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how many of them are evergreen, because thing is with hedges is they tend to lose. A lot of these will lose the leaves in the winter, so they're not actually going to be a hedge.
The holly is the only one there, is there?
When you spread the holly around,
I
don't
can
you?
see, yeah.
Yeah, and entwine, and that's why you put the
that's-
triangle shapes.
Yeah, they will be sort of like all mixed, like so
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much.
You
Like.
could always go back a bit and put some native strain in as well to climb around. So
Yeah.
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 So it will be a hedge, it just won't be a very green
You
hedge.
can always lay it as well if you wanted to.
Well, that's what we do, that's what the triangle is, it's a layering.
Lay it.
Or you mean
Lay
underneath
the hedge.
Yeah.
No, and then
Move it sideways.
yeah, do like hedge laying.
Yeah, that's a nice idea.
If you want to do it, it's still a bit of a dangerous place to do hedge laying.
I must admit, there's. I mean, although absolutely, the wildwood is probably pack is probably going to be by far the best for such a size and area. I mean, there is absolutely no harm whatsoever in then mixing in you know, an occasional, you know, something else from one of the other packs.
Well, we can't know. You can't kind of pick.
Right.
You get that number of trees, full stop.
Right, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that we could, you know, I mean, you know, if, for example, a local councillor, no names mentioned, Chris Evans, wanted to sort of augment by putting in
Some other evergreens.
something from, you know, then
Or
you know,
blossom or.
yeah, exactly.
It's just the conditions, like.
Yeah, that's what you've got.
I can have a little look, like, but it's gonna struggle.
It's got to be hardy.
Yeah.
They were going to plant something that was more environmentally friendly for the rest of the hedge, and then the Swansea Council came back and said, no, put this down because this will survive. And they were going to put down, what were they going to put down? I remember sending it in to the planning. It was a native, I think it's black. They went Blackthorn. They went, no, it's not going to work then.
Well, that's why I asked Ash, you know, because realistically, you know, it's a tough site. And, you know, we need to maximise the likelihood of them surviving.
If you've got like established trees, like it'd be great. Like
Yeah,
you can get away with a lot more.
you know, that's it, when they're starting as babies. And it does say they are, you know, these are species that will tolerate exposed sites. So,
That's it.
you know, that's why. But yes, you know, once it's become established, as you say, our local males councillors might have a look and think, oh, it would be nice if we just added a little bit of something or other into it. That would be absolutely fine.
Fantastic.
Okay, so that's an action then, is to, I would need to check with Kerry whether we have to get any permission from full council, even though it doesn't cost money, or whether we can just go ahead and order.
Should I put provisional recommendation down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't get overlooked. And then Kerry can take it off if she doesn't need it.
Yeah,
Rob Marshall will still object, may I say.
but there we are. Yes, okay, so Wildwood. So you reckon 2 packs of 420?
Yeah, again, if you can, yeah.
Well, it's 3 packs if you want.
They could always be planted elsewhere.
Yeah, because if they're free, you never have like, you know, not all of them gonna be.
Actually, it's top of the area in what nature reserve.
Yeah.
There's also gaps in it.
Yeah, I don't know whether they come and kind of look at where you put them and make sure that you've actually used them where you said you would. I don't know. But okay, so we'll go for 3 packs then, for Wildwood.
Yeah. 3.
Can we stop at 3? Okay, well, sorry it's gone on, but that's really good. Thank you. That's been really good input from everybody. Thanks ever so much. And yeah, spend your summer coming up with all the fantastic ideas that you have for
Should I stop recording, Chair?
for the budget for next year. So, yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks very much.